Theodor Herzl was born on May 2, 1860, on the left bank of the Danube River in the city of Pest, today part of Hungary's capital of Budapest. From his father, Jacob Herzl, he obtained his stature and his well-formed features. From his mother, Jeanette, came his striking deep-set eyes. Herzl had a Jewish upbringing in the Reformed tradition. On Sabbath and holidays, he attended with his father the impressive liberal temple next door to their house. Herzl also received a thorough German education, thanks to his mother, who implanted a love of the German cultural heritage in her children. In the Austro-Hungarian Empire at that time, German culture was something looked up to as the high point of Western civilization. When Herzl entered high school, or the evangelical gymnasium as it was called, he had already determined on a career as a writer, when tragedy struck the family. In 1878, Herzl's only sibling, his sister Pauline, died of typhoid fever at the age of 18. The family, unable to stand the familiar surroundings without her, moved to Vienna 1 week later. Herzl grew closer to his parents as a result of his sister's death. The bond would endure his entire life. In Vienna, Herzl enrolled in the university as a law student, a concession to his parents who felt that writing was not a stable profession. He joined a dueling student fraternity, Albia, where he was remembered for his liveliness and wit. But Herzl would withdraw from the fraternity in 1883 after learning that it had taken part in an anti-Semitic demonstration in honor of the composer Richard Wagner. In a letter of resignation, Herzl wrote,
"It is pretty clear that, handicapped as I am by my Semitism, I would today refrain from seeking a membership, which would indeed probably be refused me. It must also be clear to every decent person that under these circumstances I cannot wish to retain my membership."
Following university, Herzl's literary and journalistic career flourished. Jewish cares receded from his mind. But in 1892, as Paris correspondent of Vienna's Neue Freie Presse, the most distinguished paper in the Austro-Hungarian Empire, Herzl would become preoccupied with the Jewish question. There were a number of reasons for this, not least of which was the killing of a French Jewish captain, Armand Meyer, by the anti-Semitic Marquis de Moray in a duel. Herzl began to seek a deeper understanding of the deep-rooted hatred toward the Jews. He also strove for a solution. The answer he came up with was, to say the least, surprising: the complete disappearance of the Jew through baptism and intermarriage. Herzl's idea was to reach the Pope and say to him,
"Help us against anti-Semitism, and I in return will lead a great movement amongst the Jews for voluntary and honorable conversion to Christianity."
Herzl imagined what this conversation would look like.
In the broad light of day, at noon on a Sunday, a solemn and festive procession, accompanied by the pealing of bells, shall proceed to the St. Stephan Cathedral in Vienna. There shall be no furtiveness and no shamefacedness as hitherto. It shall be done proudly and with a gesture of dignity. And inasmuch as the adult leaders are to remain Jews, they shall not enter themselves. The entire enterprise should take on a mighty character of integrity. We, the intermediary generation, are to remain where we are. We shall stand by the faith of our fathers, but our children shall pass over to Christianity before their conversion can bear the character either of cowardice or of interested scheming.
During this period, many Jews converted to Christianity for what might be called dishonorable reasons, in order to advance in a society that barred Jews from obtaining high rank. Herzl never got far with his conversion idea. He hoped to enlist the help of his newspaper, but his editor, Moritz Benedict, himself a Jew, would have none of it. One of Benedict's arguments resonated with Herzl.
"Throughout 100 generations, your people has sustained itself as Jews. And you want to become the limit of that process? That is something which you cannot and may not do."
Herzl gave up his baptism plans. His ideas about the Jewish question would continue to evolve, especially through a play he wrote in 1894 called The New Ghetto, the best of his dramatic works. The hero, Dr. Jacob Samuel, starts out, much like Herzl, as an assimilated Jew, and by the end of the play dies in a duel fighting for the Jews and their honor. Herzl could not yet be called a Zionist, but an event that began on December 19, 1894, would make him one. That event involved the trial of a French Jewish captain for treason. It would become known as the Dreyfus Affair.